It's DJ, host of Cold Fries Reviews, here with the Fantastic Four First Steps review. Definitely want to give it a hot fries. Yeah, it was a marvelous movie, all pun intended. Seems like they're in the right direction. In my non-spoiler, we couldn't go into, the details that actually made it really, really dope for me. Yeah, Galactus was crazy. Hands down, just seeing it compared to the far cloud that we saw before, definitely remarkable to see the way they handled Galactus. I don't know, I think maybe the comic book fan in me kind of wanted to see him on a scale where it seemed like he would eat the planet. The way they always, Galactus and the Celestials, Arishem showed up. It was just, I thought there was going to be something like that, but beggars can't be choosy, and I just wanted a great movie after, the string of duds we had in Phase 5. We were blessed with a little bit of great movie with No Way Home and Shang-Chi and stuff like that. So, to see us getting back into that rare form Marvel, definitely appreciate you, Mr. Feige. That being said, let's get into the spoiler review. Like I told you, hot fries, definitely sizzling, fresh out the grease. Unlike the fries that I had the other day with an unnamed restaurant that a million people know and eat at. Definitely won't under the bus you right now, but your fries were horrible. So kind of fries we're talking about here. Fantastic Four was not that. It was, first off, let's talk about the 828. The universe they brought to life in this movie was absolutely needed. It was a breath of fresh air. It wasn't the MCU we were used to, but just take it over to another side, where Reed is the mind of a lot of advancements that they had in this world. 828 is the shout out to Jack Kirby. Birthday was August 28th. So, the opening montage with Stan Lee and Kirby at the drawing table, that was cool. And, just the way they gave homage to that era of comic book fan stan, however you want to call it, shout out to him. But yeah, it was a dialogue with Subterranea, Mole Man, it was just all cool. First thing I want to talk about maybe is the retro futuristic 60s. It was definitely a nod to what Doctor Strange said in Multiverse of Madness. Didn't you chart in the 60s? Like, it was just, even back then, I was like, oh, okay, they're going back there. Definitely follow through on that. Again, shout out to Marvel, man. Just love the way you guys are bouncing back. Rocky and Drago, but there's a new contender. His name is Mr. Gunn. And he gave us some great works with Guardians, but definitely love what Matt Shackman did with this movie. And then the next part, the Rogue Gallery, where we couldn't actually see these people, but they were shout out to Mad Thinker, Puppet Master, Mole Man, Giganto, Wizard, Diablo, and then we had Red Ghost, who was going to be in the movie, but John Malkovich was cut. We saw him in the trailer, but we know when it hits that chopping block and things need to get shredded, or stories need to be condensed or expounded upon, things are gonna be removed. So, and they did show him in the animation at the end, but we'll talk about that later. Yeah, definitely love the the Rogue Gallery shout out. That was cool. We could have honestly did without the Roger Corman, and it was cool for those that like the old Tommy Superman, well, not Superman, but superhero movies that we got. I was never really a fan of the whole Roger Corman Fantastic Four, let alone the 3 movies we got prior. I was just never really a fan of those movies, so it just wasn't done well, no matter how many ways they tried to, at that time particular, those were kind of like the only movies that we had. But just to see a great depiction, this movie right now, it was just handled with care. It was exactly what Feige told Robert Downey Jr. He said, let's get Doom right. No, you got Fantastic Four right. Thank you. The 94 cameo was cool, but it's a B movie. Leave it in the dirt. So yeah, now let's talk about the coolest part of everything. Was the Silver Surfer in the Wormhole. My God. I saw the Kubrick comparisons. And Interstellar is one of my favorite space movies of all time. And and the way it just reminded me of that in the movie theater. By the third time, I did see the Kubrick comparisons, but the first time was just all Interstellar, and it was the blend of the MCU. And for Reed's technology to be able to navigate that, it's just mind blowing what's about to happen to the actual sacred timelines. Definitely interested. With that being said, I was starting to talk about Silver Surfer, Julia Garner, aka Ruth Langmore, aka Mother Bleeping Kill Me. Yeah, if you're an Ozark fan, you know what that's from. But yeah, man, she killed it, man. She was, you know, the herald that we needed, that was different from Nora and Rad, but they still kind of piggybacked on the rise of the Silver Surfer story, but you know, made it just they corrected. It was a course correct on what they got wrong in Rise of Silver Surfer, and I appreciate that, Marvel. I totally appreciate it. And the way Johnny was the so-called love interest, and not even the interest, because she wasn't interested in him, but for him to learn her language and, you know, decipher that, and then, you know, just the transmissions, and that was all cool. You know, that was all cool. It was appreciated. I loved it. You know, Galactus, he was relentless. He was, you know, just, he was a presence. He was intimidating. He wasn't a fart cloud. He wasn't just some lightning in this. Whatever they tried before, it was just like, whoa. Especially if you read the comics. If you read the comics, you know, when you seen Galactus and we didn't see Galactus, that's the problem. Yeah, we just saw this big dumbass cloud, and it was just gave me shit. And thank you for correcting that when they were on his ship. And then, you know, it was just all dark, and then all of a sudden the eyes lit up. I mean, in IMAX, that was crazy. Him, and I just gotta call this diabolical, but it wasn't diabolical because he wasn't doing it for no reason, but it was like he had a reason. He was tired of sitting there for millions and millions and millions and millions and millions of years, you know? He wanted Franklin to take his spot. And then them twisting the power cosmic compared to him being Omega level mutant, and, you know, just reality warper, and he can create pocket universes, and he can't necessarily create a whole new universe, but I'm sure that his power can be channeled or added to in order to make that happen. So just can't wait to see what they do with that, and what Doom's plan is. But going right into that, the Latveria shout out when they were in the so-called UN meeting. Really, it was the Future Foundation, but that was cool. It kind of let me know that this is obvious. It's not really too much to think about. I don't think Doom's gonna get pulled from some other random universe that they gotta tie into the incursion. I honestly think it's just gonna be the 828 Doom, and not to mention, you know, the way they handled things. Definitely, I'm not gonna go too long on this because I'm sure everybody's seen the movie now, but, you know, the teleportation to another side of the universe thing, I thought that was dope, the way Silver Surfer just came in and just killed all your plans. I mean, like Buzz Killington, like straight up, y'all are not about to win. I don't know what you thought. And she took out all of them in like less than like a minute. Like, it was just it was crazy. I was like, oh man, I thought that was we don't have the ultimate nullifier. So what are y'all gonna do? And then he's gonna transport the Earth to another side of the universe. Thought about it for a minute, like, what about the sun? You know, like, I mean, like, is there another sun over there as well? Like, you know, how does that work? You know, I'm sure Reed thought it out and everything, but transport Earth and then save us. Because if Johnny had limited time in his suit, imagine what we got. So, just thought about that. You know, I'm no physicist or nothing, but with that being said, you know, just the solution and Silver Surfer just wiping out all those. I was like, hey man, what are they gonna do? But they decided to use Franklin as bait, and then Sue, Storm with the Galactus chokehold. She looked like she she had him in like a invisible chokehold. Definitely ready for the Undertaker slam. She wasn't playing about Franklin. So yeah, that was cool. You know, and pushing him through the wormhole. Just where does Galactus go now? He goes to the opposite side of the universe, where it's gonna take him X amount to get back to the Earth. So just want to know how that works, you know, and I seen somebody else say it too, so I'm definitely curious as to what happened on the opposite side of the wormhole once it closed, and like Silver Surfer's like there with Galactus after you just like pushed him through. So definitely curious. R.I.P. Shalla-Bal. Maybe like, you know, it's just a board out there floating right now because Galactus already took her out. I mean, already put her in a chokehold, so I can only imagine what happened on the opposite side of the wormhole. But yeah, so but other than that, all jokes aside, this movie was hot fries. Let's talk about Doom for a minute. Definitely curious to know whether or not Sue knows him, whether Reed went to school with him, you know, and it was just a backstory with that Doom, because again, like I just said a few minutes ago, it's gonna be the Doom from 828. It's too much story to add or try to fix or tie in if he's from a whole nother universe. Makes the most sense for this one right here. I think Sue's gonna know him. We didn't see, you know, when the hood, you know, was just like focused on Franklin and he was touching his face and the mask was off. Yeah, we didn't see it, but it's gonna be you know, Robert Downey Jr. It was already confirmed by the Russo brothers that was actually him, you know, in the hood. So I do believe, I just got a funny feeling that, you know, Reed and Sue are already gonna know him, and there's gonna be a whole backstory that we're not privy to yet, and so Doomsday. So definitely looking forward to that. And yeah, you know, Doomsday has a lot of implications, a lot of things that were set up, you know, in this movie. Just seeing, you know, where it goes and how far the dimensional portals that Reed is planning, you know, just where that takes us. So, you know, with that being said, Fantastic Four's first steps, definitely hot fries. Marvel's back on the right trajectory, and definitely looking forward to everything to come. We've gotten 2 hits in a row. Thunderbolts was crazy, and Fantastic Four first steps. So definitely looking forward to the Hickman of it all, you know, whether they go into Time Runs Out and how all that plays a part. Secret Wars, and yeah, man, definitely appreciate that one. So with that being said, that was a spoiler review of Fantastic Four first steps. Just want to remind you guys again about the 1,000 subscriber giveaway. Please like, comment about your favorite Fantastic Four moment, your favorite Fantastic Four character. You know, talk about some stuff from the comics. I know what you're talking about. A lot of other people out here going to too. So, you know, these are the kind of conversations that we like to have. So when we're theory crafting, it comes from a genuine place of us really knowing the material and knowing what these characters have been through, in order to see where, you know, with the directors, with Matt Shakman, Dustin Daniel Cretton, you know, all these people are pulling from in order to draw these stories, which, perfect segue. So we're going to talk about the Spider-Man Brand New Day news. Marvel released a teaser earlier today, and it had the suit in it. We expected the suit because of Spider-Man No Way Home. Definitely keeping it ground level. Love that Punisher's going to be in it. Really curious to know where they go with the Punisher being on, you know, ground level, and Spider-Man being who he is. And you know, we also saw the Mr. Negative teaser, so that was cool. Scorpion's gonna be in the movie now, and that's, you know, expanding upon the villains and just really expanding upon the Spider-Man mythos and the rogue gallery that Spider-Man has, because you know, it was introduced in Spider-Man Homecoming, but now that, you know, some time has went past, we're gonna see what Scorpion looks like. So definitely can't wait for that. And then, according to Hollywood Reporter today, Mark Ruffalo was confirmed to be in the movie as Hulk. Now, are we getting Professor Hulk? Are we getting Savage Hulk? Remains to be seen what kind of role you can play in a street, grounded, you know, kind of a, you know, Spidey at home, working Daily Bugle kind of thing. Just curious to see how the Hulk plays a part in all of this and what kind of story they're setting up for Doomsday, you know, July 31st, 2026, I believe. So yeah, can't wait to see it. You know, Dustin Daniel Cretton killed Shang-Chi, so I can't wait to see what he does with Spider-Man Brand New Day. And, you know, hopefully we can get the Kingpin, the things that are going on in Daredevil, tie-ins, you know, hopefully just a cameo and a show up by Matt Murdock, because that would be epic. In this movie, I mean, the way y'all did No Way Home, like, yeah, that would, you know, not just catching a brick. I mean, like really daredeviling out there, you know, Devil of Hell's Kitchen, you know, killing shit. So, can't wait to see what they do with that. So, you know, great news, y'all. Great news. It look like Spider-Man Brand New Day is going to shape up to be that ground level before we get into the multiverse, tie into the multiverse. Maybe Doom shows up at the end and F's Peter Parker's head up, you know, who knows? But we'll see about a year from now. So definitely looking forward to it. Can't wait. With that being said, definitely gonna wrap this up. Thank you for your support. Thank you for your, you know, watching the video this long. If you made it this long, again, like, comment, subscribe. That's how you win our 1,000 subscriber giveaway for Xbox or PlayStation of your choice. We're gonna be doing that for, you know, other increments of subscribers as well, 2,500, 5,000. We're just gonna keep going with it, showing love. Why? Because you showed me love and you watched me this long. So again, this was a Hot Fries review for Fantastic Four. And yeah, this was a spoiler review. Hope you had time to go watch the movie. If you haven't, go see it. And you'll see a lot more than what I said in this video, but mind-blowing, man. It was what we needed. And about to watch Eyes of Wakanda. Gonna do a review on that. Definitely look forward to the Alien Earth. I'm going to that early screening next Tuesday, so we're gonna do a review on that as well. You know, out of theater reaction. It's the first episode review. Well, actually, when the embargo lifts on the 12th. So we'll go ahead and drop that review. And with that being said, nobody likes cold fries, and Fantastic Four was hot fries. I'm gonna have the review for Eyes of Wakanda in the morning, so hopefully that's hot fries too. Definitely don't want to make that a cold fries, but if it deserves it, it deserves it. That being said, nobody likes cold fries, y'all. Peace.